I guess my only question I really have is honestly, what do you, if you were to give a percentage that we were going to play, what would that percentage be?
$1 million
Ooh.
question right off the bat.
I don't waste
Man,
time.
Might as well get straight to it, right? Yeah, I get asked it a lot when I'm doing, radio spots or interviews around the country, and I've sort of been pegging it around, 25, 20%, kind of depending on the day. I feel like it's really low because even if we get some Canadian government funding, there's so many health and logistics to work through. And as an example, right, you guys have all seen it with the NBA bubble or Major League Baseball. There's still players testing positive for coronavirus. So what's the threshold there in terms of getting through the season? Now, I think being Canada will certainly help that because it's much different than, I don't even want to name the president down in the United States and his idea towards it. But I still think it's really low. I mean, if we get a CBA going and then the Canadian government signs off on it and maybe puts in some money, then it bumps up. But I still peg it that the chances of it happening are likely not. I hate saying it.
Yeah, Justin, you mentioned we're in Canada and numbers are lower. But these NBA and NHL bubbles are like $100 million day type bubbles. What are we looking at for the CFL in terms of how much this bubble is going to cost per day?
Yeah, and that would be much different up here because I don't know if I can put together a strict number for you there, but public health is going to cover a lot of the testing. And then you have the 2.5 million that the province of Manitoba put up. And that's essentially going to go to some of the lodging costs and the food because they want that money put right back into the economy there in Winnipeg, which makes a ton of sense. So, I've heard some teams sort of banning about numbers where they feel like it's going to cost, between 2 and 3 million per team to run their team's bubble essentially. So that's kind of all encompassing. But let's say, for example, a comparison, I had been told that the Buffalo Bills, for example, are setting aside 3 million just for testing. Now, obviously they're testing every day, but you have the Bills setting that aside just for testing for one season. And you have CFL teams talking about between 2 and 3 million, depending how the funds get worked out for an entire bubble situation for a 6-game season plus playoffs.
Yeah, the further you dig into it, it doesn't add up the way we want it to.